Fall is here, which means families are making their way to pumpkin patches and fall festivals all across the Low Country. But with big tractors, petting zoos, and other attractions, sometimes people can get hurt while having fun. So who's responsible if you get hurt at one of these events? Attorneys Brandon Dawson and Jeffrey Ward with the Thumbs Up Guys are here this morning to help us figure that out. Thank you both for being here.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, glad to be back.
Yeah.
Great to have you guys here. All right, it's fall fun time, right? Yeah. We're all out with our families having a good time. But what happens if you get hurt at one of these festivals? Who's responsible?
Yeah, first thing I want to say is if you're required to sign a waiver, do not let that deter you from calling an attorney and talking through what happened. Because those waivers are meant to protect the companies against lawsuits or something like that related to anticipated activities. But the unanticipated, the unplanned for things that happen, those waivers don't cover that. So I hear it all the time, well, I signed this waiver. That's used as an initial defense. We have this waiver they signed, but it's not what that doesn't matter all the time. So it's always really important not to be deterred just because you signed a waiver. Your rights are still protected to some extent.
Okay, I've always wondered about that. So that's a good tip.
Another little tip there, a lot of times what I'll do is I'll just like write an X and just hand it back to them. Like 99% of the time, they don't really pay attention to it. Yeah. So if you want to be that person as well, that also will get you out of the waiver issue. But yeah, like Jeff said, it's meant to cover anticipated things. So if you put your kid up on the tractor and take a picture and they fall off and they get hurt, well, like that's kind of anticipated. But if the tractor has a sharp, rusty edge and it slices your kid's leg, that's not anticipated. You didn't sign up for a rusty edge tractor on there. So that's kind of what Jeffrey's talking about.
Yeah.
So what steps should you take if you do get injured at an event like this?
Well, just like anything else, you want to report it to anyone who's in charge. Make sure, if you can, fill out an incident report. Make sure the people who are running whatever you're at are aware of what happened before you leave. Because the last thing we see it all the time, people just go, they leave the event, they go to the hospital, they go get checked out, but they never told anyone. So now they have an out, well, how do we know this happened here? How do we know it didn't happen after? Or, you know, maybe this happened before and you're just now making it up. Making sure to report it to, you know, whoever's in charge of the petting zoo or, you know, the hayride or whatever prior to leaving is most important. Then you just need to get checked out. You need to go to the doctor. You need to go to the emergency room if it's severe, and then call an attorney. Call us and tell us what happened. We'll give you your options about what can be done next. But yeah, definitely report it and get checked out.
Take pictures too. Yeah. You know, if you can. I know a lot of times, you know, in the heat of the moment, it's not exactly the first thing on your mind, especially if it's your kid that's injured, or if you're seriously injured, you can't really take a picture. But that is always kind of the best evidence. Pictures, videos, you know, of what the the issue was, whether it was, you know, again, that rusty tractor seat or something else. That way you can say, yeah, to Jeffrey's point, like this happened, this is exactly where it was. If for some reason no one's there to do an incident report, obviously again that's, you know, paramount as well. But if you're able to say, hey, look, like this was the video of it, they can't say, well, it didn't happen here.
And to Braden's point too, these are very crowded events, lots of witnesses. If somebody saw it, you know, reach out to them, try and get their information who can vouch for and verify what you're saying, because what interest do they have in lying for you? You know, you're meeting them for the first time. It's not like a family member who's now covering your story. So any witnesses to a fall or some injury at these places are pretty important too.
And as always, we want people to be safe, right? We don't want these calls to happen. It's not, you know, we're not excited when we hear, especially about a young kid getting injured. That's not something we want to hear. So, you know, preventive measures that you can take, you know, again, don't put your, you know, 1-year-old up on the tractor and think that they are able to, you know, stay up there. So just be smart about what you're doing. You know, watch where you're sitting. You know, it is, a lot of these are, you know, you're in a cornfield, you're in these other areas where you could, you know, maybe step in a hole. You know, those are some things that are probably more anticipated. Wearing the proper footwear, you know, a lot of times closed-toe shoes. You know, keep an eye on your kids. Don't let them just run amok. You know, I think a lot of times that can avoid a lot of these sort of things as well. And just using, you know, basic common sense hopefully can avoid a lot of these injuries. But
yeah, for sure.
Like Jeff said, the call's free. So if you have a question, you do have an injury, obviously give us a call. Don't be deterred by the waivers, as Jeff mentioned as well. And, you know, we're happy to walk you through, you know, what the next steps would be.
Definitely. And that website and that phone number is right there on your screen. Have fun this season, but of course, be safe, be mindful.
And drink those pumpkin spice lattes,
I mean, yes, 'tis the season. Thank you guys so much for being here.
You're welcome.